Hello and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and the insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today, I'm very lucky to be joined by Alex Cook of Structure Agency. How's it going, Alex?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. And good. I super grateful for being a part of this. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely. And Alex, I'd love to just start this off, first of all, with just learning a little bit more about your background and a little bit more about structure.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was an interesting way that it came about. I was the one who was doodling in my math books, and I knew that I wanted to do something creative. I knew that creating and being creative was something that was just a part of my core. I didn't know exactly where and how to apply it. And so later on in life, I got to the point where I really enjoyed graphic design and a little bit of a self-taught starter. This was back in the days when MySpace was like the big thing, still the only social platform you wanted to be on. And so I took some skill that I had picked up in college with coding and web design, and I applied that to graphic design, which I had sort of learned myself,
Mm.
and was just building these like website looking accounts on MySpace for people. And so I always knew that I wanted to create, and I always knew that was the direction I wanted to go in. And so I was very deeply rooted in the music industry in past years. And so I really wanted everything I did to be revolving around that. And what ended up happening is I just sort of started off as a freelancer doing graphic design for bands, for artists, and the artists who need whatever album art, logos, stage art also wanted photo shoots. And
Mm.
so I learned how to do that. I picked up photography, just figured out how to work with a DSLR,
Right.
and they needed music videos and just progressed. And I
Mhm.
started to build connections with really good other creatives and started to collaborate with them on these types of things. And it just sort of became what was just a small studio. And we
Mhm.
did that for many years. And then the dawn of Spotify, where
Right.
everything became a little more challenging for artists to monetize things and make money. And so we shifted our focus away from the music industry at that point and over to more commercial and corporate. And that was when we rebranded and evolved into being more of like a micro creative studio to a little bit more of an advertising agency that also does a ton of creative. And yeah, it's just that's where we are today. And now I'm incredibly grateful to say that we serve a lot of awesome brands and nonprofit startups and really cool people doing really interesting things. And each and every client is unique. So it's been an interesting journey to say the least. And yeah, it's just constantly changing and evolving in really cool ways.
Yeah, definitely. And structure agency is driven by creating impactful solutions that combine clear messaging, proven strategy, and creative visuals. How do you guys ensure that the balance between strategy and creativity delivers results that resonate with both clients and their audiences?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it's something that I think maybe in the past 4 years, 4 to 5 years, we really identified as an absolute necessity in the way in which we serve clients
Mm.
is that you have to have a very specific strategic plan of action behind everything you do. Anybody can be creative. We don't want to just create to create. We want to make sure that the client is really advancing in whatever way they consider success. So whether that's more clients, whether that's if they're expanding their footprint, offering new services or products,
Hmm.
whatever that might be that they're going through, we want to find out what's the thorn in their side. What's the thing that is causing them to reach out to us? And what then is the correct implementation of a service? With how many different things we do, we're not really ever trying to sell or push a specific thing. It's really just what is the problem you're experiencing and how do we best solve it? So strategy has been huge, just figuring out target audience, user demographics, finding things like what the proper internal external positioning statements are, all of that stuff. And it's really elevated the way in which we do the creative. We're not just making stuff to make stuff anymore. We're actually making things with a very specific goal in mind on day one
Mm.
of how we're going to help them get over that wall or break through that challenge that they're going through. And that's really, once you figure out how to do it that way, it's really hard to just make stuff to make stuff. Like
Right.
you have more purpose behind what you're doing, and then they obviously see a much bigger benefit behind it, so it's worth the investment to them that much more.
Yeah.
And it's just worked really well that way.
Well, and I think that's the value an agency like yours brings because sometimes it's really hard when you're in it, right? And you're looking at your brand every day. It's hard to dissect that and be like, what because brand is so much of what other people think of you when they see your logo and whatnot. And it doesn't oh, it's hard when you're doing it every day and bringing an outside agency that sees things that maybe you don't see. There's so much value in and of itself with that, right? And you guys have the creative prowess to and the skills to back up what you say, which is I think just there's it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we found that was the case regardless of the size of the brand.
Hmm.
Like we've worked with Microsoft and Pfizer and Costco and Dollar General, but then we've also worked with small mom and pop corner stores and local nonprofits. And we find that at the end of the day, you're just working with humans. And that's
Yeah.
really all it is. They just
Mm.
have different goals, they have different challenges. And so to be able to sit down with them and say, hey, walk me through this. Like, what's
Mm.
going on? What are you experiencing that is a problem or a challenge, and to help them figure that out with them, not to just take it over and say, all right, we got it from here, but to actually work alongside them as a partner and to help with that. It really does bring a new level of service to how you can do what you do as a creative agency or a marketing agency. It really brings more purpose to things. And then obviously they're going to just go and tell everybody else
Mm.
that you're not necessarily just the good graphic design firm, but you're the one that solved their problem. And that's what everybody's actually trying to get down to the bottom of at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you guys love working with clients who are deeply invested in making their brand memorable and successful. What do you think separates a good brand from a truly great one? And how do you guys help clients achieve that distinction?
Yeah, I honestly, again, and most of our clients are on the somewhat smaller side, I would say. And the big thing that I will always tell people is authenticity and transparency. That is what people are looking for nowadays. I think we've all seen what the larger brands have done, how they act, how they talk. You can tell that it's purely from a salesy approach to hit certain numbers, to lock you into certain things that maybe you don't initially want to be locked into. And people are tired of it. People don't want that anymore. So you see this humanistic, organic approach that people are longing for, they're hungering for. So I always tell brands that no matter what it is you're doing, saying, selling, whatever the service is, product, regardless, you need to stay true to yourself. You need to be authentic. You need to be transparent about where you get things right, when you get things wrong. Just be the brand that you are, because people smell BS from a mile away.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing that you want people to walk away remembering. So it really does come down to how can you be transparent in everything that you do, in the way that you speak about yourselves, in the way that you're trying to connect with your audience. And then are you actually paying attention to them? Are you listening to them? Are you hearing the feedback and addressing it? Or are you just blazing past that and not listening to your audience? They'll see it either way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting at how it's manifesting because I feel like it really took a big turn with Gen Z because and TikTok because there's this one-on-one approach that brands are achieving, very large institutionalized brands are achieving on TikTok to be that human. I saw this viral video a few months ago and it was this girl at Marshall's and she like was trying to do something, trying to record a funny video, and she falls and almost destroys the suitcase because Marshalls sells suitcases. And Marshalls is in there like a human, probably their Gen Z social media person, whatever it is. And they're part of the conversation, like they're just another viewer. And there's that genuine approach. It's not like Marshalls reaching out to this person, be like, hey, you destroyed our product, you need to pay for it. And they're just like, they're
Yeah.
making another joke. And it's so interesting. We haven't seen that before. And it's crazy how a generation, or maybe it started with millennials, but a generation is really starting to change that view for brands. Okay, no, we need to be part of the conversation. We need to interact with them in a human way, or else there's no point in us being on social media or doing this, right?
Yeah, it's been very interesting to see that shift over the last few years because yeah, you've got this new approach where it's not all about billboards and TV ads and radio ads, and it now you're seeing this introduction of influencers, right? And just normal people that are interacting with brands and how the brands interact back. And I think it helps going back to that human connection and just like down to earth, realness. Like
Yeah.
people don't see that as much, especially with the bigger brands. And so you're seeing a lot of that right now, especially on social media. Social media has really created this new form of marketing and new form of connecting with consumers and potential customers that I don't think we've ever seen before. And yeah, making sure that brands understand the importance of social. I tell people that it used to, back in the day, you used to pick up a phone book, right? You're trying to find somebody that does something, you pick up the phone book, you find them, you call the number, and you hope that they're a good business.
Right.
Then with the internet, you have websites. And so it used to be a like, hey, you're a big deal if you have a website. Then it became a necessity. Hey, it's a red flag if you don't have a website.
Right.
But now we've seen this third step introduced, that's social media, where that's real time. A website maybe isn't updated for a few years. And whereas with social, that's showing who you are and what you're up to like right now. And so
Yeah.
it's a great way for brands to connect with people and show they're in high demand, that they're doing a lot of things. And I think people are way more prone to go to social before they even go to your website.
Yeah.
And then after the website, yeah, maybe then they'll shoot you an email or pick up the phone and call or walk into your brick and mortar.
Yeah.
But it's like that has become the first contact point is social.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting and pretty exciting, if
Yeah.
I say so.
Yeah, for sure. And you can decide what your brand is on a micro level, just what you're saying, right? It used to be what your website was and just this ethereal thing. And I still think it's this ethereal thing, but it was like people would go on your website, they would decide what your brand was, especially if you weren't back in the days before social media ads. But now you can get on social media every day and determine what your brand is and what your voice is on a micro level, which is like, we've never seen that before. It's so interesting.
A
So,
lot easier.
yeah. So, insights for anybody watching, get on social media, be on there every day, and interact with your audience. Alex, this has been amazing. Where can people learn more about you? Where can people learn more about your agency?
Yeah, so to check us out, our website is simple. It's just structurepa.com. So structurepa.com. And then same thing for social. Instagram's usually where we're keeping things up to date and showing what we're up to. So same thing, just at structurepa. And yeah, that's usually the best area. And then there's obviously different channels you can, people are feel free to send us emails, and if there's anything else that they want to know, they can reach out through the website. But those two places will take you to a whole world of everything that we're up to.
Thank you so much for being on. And for those of you who don't know, Alex is about to have his first child. So very, very big congratulations. Very exciting, nerve-wracking, I'm sure. But thank you again so much for being on. This is great.
My pleasure, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. And yeah, definitely grateful to be a part of it.
Thank you.